Once upon a time, nestled amidst lush green forests, there laid an ancient kingdom known as Venovia. Venovia was a realm of stunning beauty, renowned for its flourishing landscapes, magnificent castles, and the wealth of its people. At the heart of this kingdom reigned King Henry, a just and benevolent ruler who had guided his land through countless challenges, ensuring peace and prosperity for his subjects. However, as the years passed, a new shadow fell over Venovia, the rise of a notorious gang of thieves who plagued the kingdom with their cunning ways. The kingdom had always experienced some level of petty theft, but this gang was unlike any other. These thieves operated with an audacious intelligence that made them a formidable adversary to the kingdom's peace. They had stolen priceless artifacts, raided treasuries, and committed daring heists that left the kingdom's law enforcement baffled. This gang was known to disappear into thin air and could outsmart the most astute guards. But what had confounded King Henry the most was the peculiar nature of the thieves' conduct. Despite their bold incursions into the treasury and the chambers of nobility, the gang only took a small fraction of the riches available to them. Precious gemstones, glittering gold, and ornate artifacts remained untouched, left behind like forgotten treasures. King Henry, a deeply thoughtful and introspective ruler, couldn't understand why these thieves, who had displayed such cunning and intelligence in their methods, would only take a portion of the wealth and leave behind so much. Determined to uncover the truth, King Henry decided to delve deeper into the motivation of these thieves. He decided to take matters into his own hands. To do so, he hatched a daring plan. The king, known for his clever and strategic mind, adopted a disguise. He shed his royal robes and donned the attire of a commoner, dressed as a thug, blending seamlessly into the underworld of Venovia. With his face concealed by a hood and a shadowy cloak, he became unrecognizable to even the keenest observers. King Henry had known that the gang he was looking for was not driven by desperation or greed, but maybe by the desire of adventure, since they took a little. King Henry began to visit the dark taverns, alleys, and hideouts where thieves and thugs socialized. He engaged in conversations, listened to their stories, and observed their actions. As the days passed, the king's patience was tested. He had grown adept at navigating the intricate web of the underworld. Yet, his ultimate goal continued to elude him. Despite his clever disguise and perseverance, he had not yet found a gang that matched the intelligence and the audacity of the one he sought. One fateful evening, during a gathering, a hushed murmur spread through the room. An old thief had arrived. His appearance drew a mixture of reactions from those present. Some recognized the old man and greeted him with warmth, while others were curious and suspicious for his extended absence. Seated at the corner table, King Henry observed the scene closely. The old man declared that he does not steal anymore. He mentioned that there are 3 men who visit his village every month and provide for all the poor and needy. Therefore, there is no need for him to follow this path, since he started this profession out of poverty and misery. King Henry, still maintaining his disguise, followed the old man the next morning. His heart pounded with anticipation, for it seemed the old thief had vital clues about the gang. King Henry stayed in the old man's village for a while, and then, one day, he saw 3 individuals who had a different air about them. They were dressed modestly and appeared to be genuinely helping the poor. The contrast between their actions and their reputation as thieves struck the king as intriguing. But at this time, the king was not sure if they were the gang he was looking for. He had to be sure to act. One of the 3 men noticed the king and asked if he was a traveler, since they had not seen him before, in this village. The king responded yes, and mentioned that he plans to stay in the village for a few days before moving on. The second man among the 3 asked the king suspiciously, "What is your trade?" Obviously, looking at the way the king was dressed, the king gave a clever response, saying that he travels the lands to seek new adventures. Hearing the response, the third of the 3 passed on some food to the king and said, "You are educated, aren't you? The king responded with a yes and added that he grew up with nobility. The first man of the three said mockingly to the king, "Why don't you stay with us tonight? We will get the chance to learn some of your noble ways." The king agreed, as this was the chance, to stay up close and personal with them. The following evening, the three men introduced themselves. They were brothers, named Jack, Jim, and Jacob. Jim asked the king with a sarcastic tone that they have information about a man who was seen in the dark alleys of the thieves, and they wondered if the king was the same person. The king responded, "Yes, I am that person." The king had known by now that these men are not greedy. He will have to lure them by a different way to steal something, to arrest them. Jack asked the king, "What are you looking for?" King said that he is looking for talent, rare talent to do an impossible task. This raised curiosity among the three. They asked, "What is the task?" The king said that he cannot discuss this with everyone. The king mentioned that he is looking to team up with the gang of thieves who have been operating in the kingdom. "Who have neither been caught nor been recognized?" Jacob asked. "Why would they team up with a petty thief like you? You may be an informer." King Henry was now sure that this is the gang he is after. He took out a paper from his pocket and told the three men that it is the map to the royal treasure. Breaking in it will be the test of the best. He also added that it is filled with diamonds. Jim looked at the map and told the exact location to the rest. The king then mentioned that this map was coded. Only a master planner could have read it. The three accepted that they are indeed the legendary thieves, but they will never team up with anyone since they have all the skills they need. Jim was a master planner. Jack can find the way out in the toughest situations. And Jacob cannot forget a face, even if that person is wearing a disguise. "What is your skill?" they asked King Henry. The king thought for a while and then replied, "If ever there is a situation that you are in the king's court and are about to be hanged, my skill can come handy." "And what exactly is your skill?" the three asked. "My skill is, if I nod my head, in the king's court your lives will be saved. You may need my skill since this is an impossible mission, and I can thus be useful." The three agreed to add King Henry to their team. They planned for the mission as per their unique combination of skills and executed it very well. They only took 2 bags of diamonds and left the countless bags behind in the treasury. Before splitting, the king asked them the reason for only taking so little. The 3 thieves explained their philosophy to the king. "A man accumulates wealth with hard work, and we do not deprive anyone of the fruit of their labor. We only remind them to take care of the needy and the less fortunate. The king of this kingdom is a just man who takes care of his people well. We only came here to fulfill the challenge." With this said, they split and promised to meet at the planned location. However, the 3 were surprised to see the royal army waiting for them at the destination. The bags they carried were marked with the royal seal, and they were caught red-handed. The next day, they were taken to the king's court for trial, and the judge asked them if they wanted to say anything before they are hanged to death. While the judge was speaking, Jacob recognized the king. He said that they have a 4th accomplice who is in the hiding, and this is the time for him to fulfill his promise if he is a man of his words. King Henry smiled and nodded his head to the judge to hold the punishment. King Henry then suggested an alternative to the thieves, proposing that they work for him as his trusted advisors to improve the kingdom. The 3 were inspired by the prospect of contributing positively to their purpose and agreed to the proposal.
Please comment on what you learned from the story and share and subscribe this channel to encourage us to create more stories for you.